What are good habits to start young that will significantly make your adult life easier? I use the 2-minute rule as a guideline. If it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. Exceptions include, but are not limited to, if you need to catch a bus, or if someone's having a baby, stuff like that. You'd be surprised how long 2 minutes is. Next time you're microwaving popcorn, see if you can wipe down your kitchen counters. I bet you can. And if you notice a bottle cap that somehow fell next to your desk, just throw it out. Don't tell yourself you'll do it later, just do it now. This is great. I just threw out some pizza boxes, fed the cat and took the bins out for collection. However, while taking the bins out I stood on a snail in my socks. I hope that burns your conscience. Learn how to say no. Learn when to put yourself first and when to put others first. Don't be a pushover, but don't be an butthole. I should write this down somewhere and read it every day when I get up. Start a savings account and actually use it, even if it's just a small amount you put away every month. It's an incredibly important habit to get into. Exercise. It's easier to start young, get into the habit, then continue. It'll keep you healthy and make old age easier. Wish that I had done that. Now I have to fight the laziness which is my life to be able to exercise. Listening. When someone is talking to you, don't interrupt. Nod along with the story to encourage the person if it interests you, and ask questions afterwards. Never try and outdo someone else's story with something. Too many people I know treat communication as a game of one-upmanship, which is not only immature but will lead you into bad habit of lying to try and get ahead. Hang up your coat as soon as you take it off. Go straight to the closets and hang it up. Whenever you take off an article of clothing, if it's dirty, put it right into the clothes hamper. If it's still clean enough to wear, hang it back up or fold it and put it in the dresser. This sounds trivial, I know, but most of the messes we create are through sheer laziness. Then you still have to clean it up later, and the more messy it gets, the more miserable you are contemplating it. Once you get into a simple habit like this, you'll be amazed at how much easier it is to pick up other time-saving habits. On the same note, washing dishes as soon as you finish with them. Way easier to clean before the food dries. Work on your emotional health. None of the advice in this thread is useful if you feel too broken and powerless to do anything for yourself. If you find you are depressed or anxious, seek help. Don't wait. Anyone and everyone can benefit from constructive, competent therapy. Start becoming comfortable with yourself in social conflicts. If you can keep calm and get your opinion across when in discussions or when telling someone they have crossed your line, then it'll help you a lot. In other words, don't act like you are on Reddit. Wash your dishes as you're cooking. Makes cleanup at the end way easier, and makes me far more likely to actually do it. Learn when to do your homework. I realize I didn't create great homework habits when I was younger, so I usually procrastinate everything now. I cannot study or do homework unless it's the night before. I'm trying. I really am, but I'm fighting against 2 decades of slacking off. Of course, it doesn't help that every class requires some kind of online work. Blackboard, Math Lab, WebAssign, Smart Work, so Reddit is only a tab away. Clean up after yourself as you go along. This means put your shoes away as soon as you take them off. Clean up the kitchen as you cook. Don't just throw all the dishes in the sink. If you have a few moments to clean while the water is boiling or the dinner is in the oven, take advantage of the time and clean so it's not all waiting until after dinner when you're tired. Hang up your coat as soon as you walk in the door. Sort the mail as soon as you bring it in. Don't just dump it in a pile on your counter desk kitchen. That pile will grow and you will forget bills, coupons, invitations, etc. Go through it immediately and sort it into junk. Straight into the trash. Fun stuff. Catalogs, invitations, cards, and important items, bills, which will go straight to the top of the pile to either be dealt with immediately or very soon. Then follow through and pay those bills. Then either sort them into files to save or shred them. Don't keep random papers around for nothing. This creates clutter, which leads to chaos. Clean the bathroom. At least wipe down the sink and counters once a week. You can have a guest pop over at any time and nobody wants to see your curly hairs around the toilet or old toothpaste drippings around the sink. It takes 5 minutes to wipe down the sink. Do it. If you let a mess get out of control, you will be less likely to clean it. You will keep putting it off longer and longer. Take care of something the moment it happens and you will be much happier. You will have more room to do stuff, activities. You will be more relaxed and calm, and you won't freak out when company drops by unexpectedly. Also, always keep the following at your house: bottle of wine, appetizers, crackers and cheese work well, a birthday card, a thank you card, a sympathy card, candles, lighter, flashlight, super glue, duct tape, plunger. This way you're basically prepared for anything: company, last minute party, funeral, minor repairs, power outage, etc. Eat healthy. This is a habit. Floss every day. Lower the volume. Moisturize. Every kid I've ever known has thought they would never age, and most seem to not care, or even be able to comprehend, that they will live past 30. But let me tell you something. You're going to be old a whole lot longer than you are young. Your sense of invincibility is going to slap you in the face. The one thing you can absolutely count on is that you will look back on your youth and lament how freaking stupid you were for not listening to this basic advice. Using the language correctly. If you consistently use it correctly and not only when it is required, you will find that the correct language comes naturally. For me, it is actually harder to use internet SMS slang and skipping punctuation, skipping capital letters, etc. than it is to type accurately, simply because I'm used to typing accurately. This post might not be entirely accurate though, since I'm not writing in my native language. I wouldn't have known English wasn't your native language if you didn't mention it. Well done. Cooking. Pick up the basics. Learn how to peel and chop, season and basic flavors. Driving. Pick this up if you haven't already. Pain in the butt to learn later. Running, or any other fitness. 3 days a week. 30 minutes. Keep it up. Reading. Cheap and engrossing. Cut back on the computer games. Diet. Don't snack. Avoid soft drinks. This will save you body and your teeth for as long as possible. Ties into cooking. Upvote for cooking. My old roommate couldn't cook. He never learned how, and it meant he spent significantly more money than I did for food that was unhealthy and less tasty, like canned soup and frozen pizza. Learn to cook. Start with the basics. You'll suck at first, but you'll get better. Maybe you'll even learn to love it. Flossing. Reading fiction or substantial non-fiction for 20 minutes a day, or 3 hours a week. Giving to charity. Going out of your way to make at least one person laugh every day. Learning to cook well. Having your own exercise regimen. Putting money into a 401k. Paying bills as soon as you get them. Flossing and brushing regularly. Seeking to understand first, then seeking to be understood. No matter how much I floss, it's still not good enough for my dentist. Learn that the world is not there to make you feel good about yourself. That has to come from within in order to be actually worthwhile. Stop smoking. It seems that you can smoke socially now, and you can quit whenever, but when you want to put that cigarette down in a few years for good, you'll find you won't be able to. Took that advice 3 weeks ago. Going strong. Build the body while young. Be taught how to spend time by yourself. Be comfortable in the outdoors in all seasons. And last but not least, read as much and as often as possible. Listen to songs in the order the album they're on puts them. This makes the difference between a song sounding good and a song telling part of a story. 1. When you cook, clean as you go instead of waiting until you are done and have a mountain of dishes. That way the inevitable cleanup at the end of the meal is small to non-existent. 2. Be kind to people and genuinely smile as much as you can. You'll find that people will go out of their way to be nice to you when you seem approachable. Exercising and eating right. Seriously, around 25 your metabolism takes a big hit and it's harder to maintain a healthy weight eating bad and fatty foods. You'll start to notice around your mid-20s all your friends who don't take good care of themselves are starting to look like crap. Eating right. I've spent 20 years eating junk foods and just now starting to realize what wonderful foods there are in the world. Also, work on a talent. I started drawing as soon as I was able to pick up a pencil. Now I'm actually pretty decent. Organizational skills and time management. Critical for every job you will ever have and just for maintaining a home, family, and life in general. Exercise often. Don't eat too much and eat healthy food. Don't be stressed about everything. Keep calm and do your best. Try to think positive. Most of the time life will be much easier if you stop whining and start finding solutions to your problems instead. Floss. I think if I had been raised by my parents to believe that flossing was required for a driver's license, then I would have grown up with the idea that it was simply something I must start and keep doing someday. As an adult, I struggle to keep it up. Have a small job when you are younger. I started working at a local market when I was 14 and since then I have always been good with my money. It made me realize from a young age on how to save up for things I have wanted and 10 years on I have never been in debt. It also made me appreciate my parents more as I used to complain about not having the best brands of clothes and shoes in school. When I paid for them myself I realized just how expensive they were and took care of them more. I know this has probably already been said, but keep the conversation about the other person instead of yourself. People love it when they have somebody to listen to them. Saving money, no brainer. Exercise routine, no brainer. Read and learn to write well. These two go hand in hand. It's tough to do one without the other. The ability to write well is super important. No matter what your career is, you're going to need to apply for it with a resume and cover letter, generally, and communicate with co-workers via writing from time to time. You will be amazed how big a leg up writing well can give you. It makes you stand out from the pack, because most people these days are terrible writers. Recognize and ignore self-pity and entitlement. Teenagers are generally especially vulnerable to both of these, but they won't go away as an adult if you get into the habit. Even if your life really is unfair and really does suck, moping about it does nothing to help. So treat those feelings like a monk does. When they come up, acknowledge them, but then set them aside and move on. Don't let them echo around in your head. Learn a language and visit their country. Pick somewhere far away and different from your country. Languages are useful in ways you can never anticipate. I met and wooed my wife thanks to my ability to speak a second language fluently. Would never have expected that. And traveling internationally teaches you about the world. But it will also teach you a lot about yourself and your home. Learn to live without your phone, iPad, computer, internet. These tools are amazing, but put them away every now and then to smell the roses. Learn to entertain yourself with your brain instead of filling every spare second of downtime with mindless balls, casual games on your phone, or whatever. Frick credit cards. I wouldn't say frick credit cards completely, just use them responsibly. If you don't build good credit, it'll be difficult to get a car, house, student loans, etc. Just get used to eating healthy. Not saying you need to be on a strict diet of veg all the time or anything. Just be conscious of your eating habits. There's nothing wrong with the odd takeaway now and then though. There are so many benefits to this simple habit, for example, more energy, better sleep patterns, being stronger and fitter. Less takeaways will save you loads of money, more focused when learning or at work, and they will enable you to acquire women or men. It's really simple. You put good fuel into your body, it works efficiently. You put bad fuel into your body, it breaks down physically and mentally. Choosing not to immediately place trust in someone because of a vibe. When we're young, we're taught plain and simple not to talk to strangers. It's not that we don't trust them, we're just aware of the black and white truth that they could either be good or bad. As we get older and have more experience with people, we often let the enjoyment provided by people and their charm overshadow reason. There is always the possibility that any person you don't know extremely well is out to screw you over. A sociopath is often the most charming person among us. As a Canadian reading this, I am a little confused on other cultures. I trust people till I get warning signals that cause me to distrust them. That does not mean I do stupid things out of trust, but I don't go around thinking everyone's out to get me. Life is too short for crap like that. Eat better. Don't put junk food into your body. You will be grateful when you're in your 50s and upward, and when you're saving on healthcare costs. Upvote because your name is one of my favorite songs from one of my top 2 favorite albums. Also, good advice. Turn off all alerts on your phone. No noises or notifications for email, Facebook, whatever. It's your life and you should make your electronics work for you and not be a trained monkey that responds to every buzz and beep from those devices. It will be hard at first and you will want to check the phone all the time, but it gets easier and better and you will find yourself spending much less time on the phone and more quality time with friends and family. This is a great idea until you miss your father's dying words. Get into the habit of striking up a conversation with everyone. Seriously, after a while you'll never have issues being socially awkward. Ever. In a lift with people you don't know? Go. The cashier checking out your groceries? Go. Girl at the bus stop? Go. It will be hard at first, but it quickly becomes as natural as breathing and life will be a lot happier. Read also bulks up that vocab and conversational ability, further eliminating SAP tendencies. Get into an exercise routine. Aimless browsing is the devil. It will shorten your attention span and ruin your ability to enjoy anything to its fullest, since your brain is used to getting new information and a dopamine rush every few seconds with every new page. The worst part? You won't notice until it's too late. Seriously, cut it way down. And when you do use the computer, actually enjoy the content slowly rather than opening 5 tabs and reading each for 10 seconds, only to restart the process. Stand with good posture. Man, this will help with lots of things. Appearance, confidence, back problems, just about anything. I am 21 and struggle with good posture and I wish that I has worked on standing up straight as a kid. Saving money would be a huge habit to get into as a teen. It is so hard as an adult to start saving money if you haven't learned that habit young. Exercise regularly, brush, floss and mouthwash every day, spend majority of your time sober, but know how to have fun when the time comes. Don't smoke cigarettes. The sober thing is more a personal thing for me, but I feel that smoking pot all day every day can be very juvenile and not productive for a responsible adult life. Now maybe a little toke at night or as a start to your day. There's nothing wrong with that. Do goddamn not ever freaking ever start smoking cigarettes. Ever. I smoke them. I'm always like, but I need to quit. Every freaking friend I have that smokes is always all, but I need to quit. Just don't ever do it. Ever. Seriously. Also but do smoke weed sometimes. And do drink a beer sometimes. Flossing. It would have saved me my parents hundreds of dollars in dental bills. I'm trying to get in the habit now, but it's nearly impossible. Sleeping habits. Work ethic. Responsibility. Get to goldfish. That will teach you how to take care of another living thing. Always carry a knife on you. It doesn't need to be a flashy one or a big one. Just a knife. Maybe in a multi-tool or something. Not having an allowance. Seriously, I'm incredibly responsible with my money, and that is partly because I value it, due to never having a ton of disposable allowance as a kid. And yes, I was poor. This isn't necessarily true. As a kid, I had an allowance, but I learned to value money because that allowance was fixed. If I spent it, it was gone and I wasn't getting more. If you think you need to buy something, write it down and come back later. How much later depends on the price. If you don't consider it an absolutely necessity by the time you get back to it, you probably didn't need to spend the money on it. Go to bed. Surprised I didn't see this. Don't Reddit. Don't Netflix. Don't game. Just go to bed and sleep. Go a little earlier than you have to, and waking up won't suck so much. One thing I have noticed in my life, and wish that I had the money to give my children, is voice lessons. To train your voice to sound like a radio announcer's. You will always be listened to whenever you have something to say. Meditate. Surprised I didn't see this here yet. Meditation is something I wish I had started a very long time ago, as it can serve as the foundation for getting the rest of your life in order. It teaches you self-confidence, patience, and relaxation in a very fundamental way. All the problems I've been plagued by for years, anxiety, ADD, procrastination, self-esteem issues, I feel would be basically non-existent if I had meditated more and from an earlier age. I'm just now starting to really get a hold of my life, and there's so many years that I could have spent in a much more fulfilling way. Things like saving money, exercise, especially yoga, very much helps with relaxation, eating right, being yourself, getting off the dang internet, etc. As other people have mentioned, are very good ideas, and they are all much easier if you meditate. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.